Welcome to Whispers from Within. I'm your host, Katja Aurora, intuitive healer, space holder, and inner wisdom guide, here to share insights from a lifetime of walking between worlds. This is the sacred space where intuition leads, the soul speaks, and ancient wisdom meets everyday life. In each episode, we explore energy, healing, and the human experience, guided by presence, truth, and laughter. Let's listen in and remember who we really are. I stand in the light of truth and love, whole, sovereign, and free. Only what serves the highest good may enter this space. All else dissolves into light. Every word, sound, and silence shared here is carried in clarity, purity, and love. May each listener receive exactly what serves their highest evolution in perfect timing and perfect resonance. This field is sealed, protected, and blessed, and so it is. Welcome back, everybody. As it is quite a busy time right now coming up to Christmas, I have the feeling that some of us need a bit of simplicity in our lives. So I'm speaking about the power of simplicity today. And as I'm starting this podcast, I just invite you, whatever you're doing in this moment, listening to me, if you can just slow down a little bit, just a nudge to notice what you're doing, to just allow a little bit more presence in that doing, and just come with me on this journey to explore what simplicity can do for us and what it is here to gift us. So, you can already slow your system down just by breathing a little bit slower and just become aware that you can actually take a deep breath for a moment. And sigh out anything that might be heavy on your shoulders right now, that is not serving you right now. And just noticing how you are in this moment. And you can carry on what you're doing. I'm not asking you to stop. I'm just asking you to become a little bit more present with yourself in this moment. This is a time of the year that we humans have decided to ramp up the stress levels. And it's actually the time of year where our systems begin to slow down, where we go into hibernation mode almost. We're not animals, but we are still processing things in that same way. Especially, I'm talking about the northern hemisphere here, obviously. We're going into winter time. And winter is a time to slow down. It's a time to go inwards. It's a time to reflect and to replenish from the inside out. And society is making us believe that we need to hustle, that we need to get everything perfect for Christmas, and creates a whole load of stress that could be avoided. That could be, just made a little bit more simple if we let this happen. So this is my invitation today for you to take away maybe little bits and bobs of what I'm sharing with you, to maybe come back to that simplicity, to let perfection be perfection for another time, and to just allow yourself to come back to yourself and choose simplicity, basically. Okay, so we have a very amplified collective right now. There's a lot of intensity and overwhelm in the field. There's a lot of so much to fix, and that was my dog. Sorry, in the background. There's a feeling of so much to fix in the field, and I just want to acknowledge that as well. This is quite intense this year, probably more so than other years. Is quite something. And I just want to add here as well that when I allow myself to pause, that those are the times that I get insights. Those are the times that I find solutions to problems that I've been facing. It is the pauses that allow the downloads to come in, allow the epiphanies to come in. And sometimes there's a saying, I believe, I haven't got it ready here with me, but there's a saying that problems solve themselves if we only let them. So that is the invitation here. So sometimes it's not us that need to sort something out, but we can actually just take a step back and reflect and see it from the outside. That then helps us to cope with something. So today, I'd like us to return to the basics, not as a fallback, but as a foundation. So what if healing, for example, didn't have to be big? What if the most powerful medicine is found in simplicity alone, in the day-to-day tiny little bits and aspects of our lives? And this is where I want to take you today. So follow me as I am going into a few little tidbits here to give you on your way as we navigate this very busy, seemingly very busy Christmas time. There is a cultural obsession. This is again going into the healing aspect as well. There's a cultural obsession at the moment with constant transformation, with breakthroughs, big breakthroughs, retreats that are concentrated, and deep dives as well. And there's a tendency for people, especially in the plant medicine movement, to go back to that over and over and over again without very much of integration happening, very much of the epiphanies and the insights that come from these retreats or these deep dives, to let them settle in the system and to understand what it actually brings you. So that can also, if you go into a lot of healing and if you do this constantly, you can end up in overwhelm. You can also end up in bypassing or even burnout. Because if we bypass all the things, if we're not actually letting things integrate properly and give ourselves the time and maybe even go into understanding what's happened to us, then all that medicine that we went through, that with all the downloads, all the things that came up, they're not actually landing in the system fully because we're chasing after the next thing already. So even there is the same thing happening as is with Christmas. We chase after something. We are distracting ourselves with all the little things that need to be done. And we're not actually pausing to find the nuggets of wisdom, to find that the integration can happen in the system. We need our nervous system to feel safety, to feel repetition and gentle consistency so that we can heal. And this happens in the day-to-day things that we do. So we can, and this is the perfect time to apply this right now because it's really intense going up to Christmas. So we can practice this and can really feel the benefits of that in this current time of the year. So I want to put this in here. Healing does not have to always be loud. It is often quiet, slow, and subtle. And it can be in the day-to-day as well as in sessions that you go and do and retreats that you go and do. So I want to give you a few markers here where you can kind of weave this into your day-to-day. And I'm going to call them the 4 pillars of simplicity. And I invite you also, if you feel that way inclined, to maybe take 1 or 2 or even all the 4 of them and try them out in your routines, in your day-to-day, and feel the benefits of it. or see if it does anything to you. Obviously, we're all different, and some things might not work for you so well, and others might. So I invite you to try them out and play with them. Now, the first pillar here is nourishment, is food as frequency. So what I mean by that is as we choose what we eat, we can become aware that what we consume becomes the texture of our field. So if you choose your food wisely and then eat slowly, intentionally, and with presence, you can do so much in your field already. So choosing foods that feel alive, not just healthy, making warm meals, choosing grounding foods like the root vegetables, for example, they're very grounding foods. And also choosing hydration that is nourishing. Not all waters are the same. Tap water is not the same as filtered water. Just saying. All of that is subtle energetic support and can help stabilize your field. So choosing what you put into you wisely can help anchor you, can help you integrate properly, can help you cope with your sensitivity in some shape or form. And it requires a little bit of presence when you do that, right? You can't just do the same old if you want to make a difference. You can't want something different when you do everything the same as always. You have to kind of apply a little bit of something different here so that you get a different outcome. And one simple practice you could do here is just that. You could choose one meal a day and eat it in silence. So it's not even about the food that you've created, but eat it in silence. Let that nourishment be the medicine and switch off everything else. That in itself can be a challenge to some. But if you try that out, you might already find the benefits in that, because as we focus on the food, focus on the eating itself, we do so much and help the digestion a lot as we do. So that's the invitation here. The second pillar is rest as integration and true restoration for once as well. Sleep is not just recovery. It's where our field reweaves itself. So rest from collapse or shutdown is not the same as rest that is truly nourishing. Then rest becomes a portal where the body can naturally reorganize and repair itself. This is what is really wanting to happen in the night, but we often are so powered out that it ends up being just a collapse or a shutdown, or we're so wired that we can't even properly relax and go into sleep in the first place. So nowadays, with the new frequencies coming in, it is not always necessary for us to properly sleep and go into deep sleep motion. It's not necessary. We can actually already replenish the system by mini rests, little pockets of rest in the day or even at nighttime if you are struggling to sleep. So there is a power, for example, in deep breaths. If you can practice deep breaths, you're oxygenating your blood and you're bringing restoration into the body just by intentional breathing alone. So that already can be restful for the body. There's a second one, which is power naps. So short spurts of sleeping during the day can also help you to feel replenished. And it's also where the body can actually go into restoration mode, into replenishing itself, into repairing something. Even though in those short moments of time, it doesn't have to be long. Even just lying down and resting, not even sleeping, can be very powerful. Just that resting is okay. And as we're changing in the frequencies that we're traversing at the moment on Earth collectively, just the intention of slowing down and resting is enough for the field to settle. And I almost want to invite you to not put so much pressure on yourself to have to sleep, or to think that if you don't sleep, you won't be rested. To let go of all of that and allow the body to do what it needs to do. Be open and have the intention of resting, and then see what happens. Rather than putting yourself under pressure that you have to sleep, you might find that if you let go of that, you can actually rest in a better way. Another thing to do here is pauses. Pauses, doing nothing in between what you're doing in the day. Now that takes a little bit of courage because usually our to-do lists are very long and pausing feels very unproductive. That's what society tells us anyway. So pausing goes against the norm, goes against the grain. But it's the thing that for me brings me insights, solves problems, and does so much more. So a pause is when you intentionally stop what you're doing and don't do anything, just sitting, just being. That's a pause. So there's no expectation, there's just a moment of being. And you can softly gaze into the room or nature or wherever you are. A soft gaze is always helping there. So the invitation on this one is pausing. So set your alarm on your phone maybe to pause intentionally in the day. And as you pause, take a deep breath in and out and softly gaze ahead, not focusing on anything, but doing that for 1 or 2 minutes or even 3. There is a wonderful little app that is for free from Richard Rudd called the Triple Flame, which is a lovely little helper in learning how to pause. And he has even got meditations and other little things in the app that you can use to guide you through the 3 minutes or the 1 minute that you have to pause if you need some guidance there. But even you deciding to pause is enough. You don't have to do anything else. That is enough. So that's the invitation here. So instead of putting pressure on yourself that you need restful sleep, your intention of resting, of taking a pause is enough. So try that out. So again, we're just releasing the pressure of having it a certain way and just allowing what wants to be there in the first place. Okay. So then, the third pillar that I have kind of come up with is little rituals as rhythm. They're like anchors for the nervous system in the day. Often we have morning, evening, or transitional routines. Now, the difference between a routine and a ritual is the intention. So, usually we do our routines by repeating them so often that we no longer think about what we are doing as we're doing them. And a ritual is the opposite. The ritual brings presence and intention into what we're doing. So even the brushing of the teeth becomes an intentional thing we do, if you want to take that example. So rituals are tiny markers of meaning They don't have to be big ceremonies or elaborate ceremonies. They don't have to be big. They can just be tiny little markers, but they have to be intentional. So, for example, lighting a candle at the same time each day to set an intention or to honor a loved one is such a thing. You do it with intention. You light that candle with an intention, right? Another thing would be putting your hand on your heart for 1 minute. Setting an intention, being intentional with it. Maybe focusing on your breath while you're doing that. That can be a little ritual to bring you back into the present moment. It can also be the intentional pausing before a meal. So there's the pausing again, but here it is in front of something else. So we're pausing before a meal, almost even going into gratitude. So the grace that some people say before they start eating has that kind of notion. You don't have to say a grace, but you can feel grateful for this meal that you're about to eat. Just before you're about to eat, just pause for a moment. Doesn't have to be long either. But it stops you in your tracks. It makes it more intentional. And then that becomes a ritual. There's another practice I want to give you on the way. This one is having a cup of tea. That can become a ritual for you. So you can make yourself a cup of tea. Even the making of the tea can be a ritual in itself when you do it intentionally. But then you can also hold the cup. You can feel the warmth. You can allow your nervous system to soften with each sip that you're taking. So it's like this intentional slowing down of doing one task, in this case, a cup of tea, drinking a cup of tea. I love this one. So for me, a cup of tea is really nourishing. And if I can slow down enough doing that, it really nourishes my system. So that's one that I really love, and that's one that I invite you to try out. Just see how that works for you. It might not be a cup of tea, might be a cup of coffee. That's fine too. Although the coffee will probably amplify your stress levels a little bit. If it can be herbal tea or even just breakfast tea, that's okay as well. I'm in England, that's why I'm saying breakfast tea. But yeah, I love Earl Grey. But that again has caffeine, so it will, it has a little bit of an stimulating effect, really. Whereas herbal teas might do the opposite, like rooibos or chamomile or peppermint, or some of those. They are the better option there because they will help you calm your system. Again, this comes back to what we put into the body, right? To the first pillar. Now, the fourth pillar is presence, is returning to the moment. And they have woven into the others a little bit already. And here I just want to say that presence is the most powerful healer of all. It can soften our resistance. And it's not used as a performance. It is just being here, being fully with who we are, with what we are doing in the moment. For example, listening without needing to respond. Just listening. Not needing to do anything. Just being present. Being witness. Yeah, that's a good one. Being witness to what happens. And here the invitation I have for you is to do one task today or any day with full presence. And you choose what that is. It could be brushing your teeth. It could be making a meal. It could be washing up. It could be anything. It could be making your bed. Putting on clothes. But do it with full presence. Being fully present. Not thinking over something, mulling over something in your head, getting to the next thing, talking to somebody. Just do that one thing in full presence. Like that meal in silence might be one of those things, right? So yeah, that's the invitation there. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the energetics of simplicity and why we might feel why we might resist the slowing down. So when we pause, when we get slower, when we slow down, our inner voices usually become louder. And if there's a lot of clutter and a lot of stuff there, we don't want to deal with that. So slowing down will amplify those voices. This is where tidying that up and working through our stuff can help us be more present, because the voices ebb down a lot. So usually distraction feels easier than facing the fear of what we might face or feel in stillness. Right? So we can start to gently approach simplicity to alleviate the pressure and the guilt and all the other feelings that we feel by doing. And small rituals can help us regulate our field in that instance. So the small rituals can be anchors in our day to help us get a bit more structure into the day and allowing us to come back to ourselves. Simplicity itself creates coherence. It also creates clarity and it gives space for intuitive alignment. This is what I mean when I say, when I pause, I get insights. When I pause, there is a space I'm creating where something is able to drop in. If we cram our days full with doing, there is no space for magic. There is no space to receive anything. It's a constant outlet of energy. So we're losing energy as we do. There is no backwards motion of actually receiving anything. So the pause is the feminine. The pause is allowing that receiving in our system. And some of us really have a hard time to receive in the first place. So when you invite these little pauses into your day, you are practicing, you are, what's the word? You're stimulating the muscle of receiving. And that's all it is. That's all that's needed, really. To actually just open the door to receive that pause, receive the silence. And it might not be full silence because you might have a lot of thoughts in your head, but that's okay. You can still observe yourself in that. You don't have to jump on the bandwagon of the next thought. You can just look at them and let them pass you by, just like a train or like a cloud. Just let them go past. They will. You know, if you don't jump on them, if you don't engage with them, they will just pass by. And that's what we're practicing. So to get disentangled, to become the observer. If you meditate, that should be fairly easy for you to do. But if you don't have to meditate. You can just pause. And the pausing doesn't include necessarily, can do, but it doesn't have to include closing your eyes. You can have your eyes open. You can softly gaze somewhere, just not doing anything. Not planning the next move, just doing nothing. Okay. So now I want to try this on. If you want to follow me here, you don't have to. Obviously, you can do whatever you want. But here I'd like to take you into the breath, the returning to the breath. This is a very simple practice. You probably have done it before, but I'm just guiding you now if you want to follow me here. So, if you can, place one hand or both hands on your chest and take a deep inhale through the nose and a soft exhale out through the mouth. And you can have a sigh here. If you make a sound as you exhale, you are creating oxytocin in the body, which is a feel-good hormone, so it makes you even feel better. So try this out with a proper sigh as you breathe out. You can repeat the breathing in and the sighing out. And you can also, as you sigh out, as you exhale, let any tension in your body just drop downwards. Allow yourself to relax in your body right now. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. And then feel your feet. Wiggle with your toes. Become aware of your feet in this moment and how they're on the ground. Just noticing, not doing anything, just noticing. And then come back to your hands as they are on your chest. Notice how they maybe move as you breathe into your chest and as you breathe out again. Notice how you are present as you observe what's happening, as you're with your hands or your feet. That's what presence is. Some people don't even know what presence is, you see. That's why I'm pointing it out. And then ask yourself, what do I need in this moment? And then trust the first sensation or whisper that comes up. Don't doubt it. The first thing that comes up is the right thing. Can be really simple. Can be something complicated. It's all good. Don't doubt what you're getting as an answer. Might just be a feeling. Might just be a subtle sensation. Or it might be a sentence in your mind. It might be different for each one of you, but trust that whatever you're getting is the right thing. You can repeat this again once I've stopped talking. So, focusing on your breath with body awareness, maybe bringing in some gratitude as you're focusing in, so you could even just feel grateful to have this body in this moment, that you can breathe in, that you can breathe out, that you're present. Just be grateful for it. There's so much to be grateful for in this life. We can be grateful for each and every body part. So if you're struggling to be grateful, can you be grateful for your body? The gratitude is a really lovely aspect to change your mood as well. If you're in a negative mood, it's very, very simple to employ the gratitude practice. Being grateful for 3 things, or just one thing is enough. You can shift your mood into the positive as well. Gratitude for the simple things. Bringing it back to simplicity, right? So the simple things. Life is a series of simple things, and what counts in the end are the simple things. You will remember the simple things. That's often the case. So it's what we do in our day-to-day that counts. So all the little things that we can put more presence into, they make a lot of a difference for us. And the deeper breaths, even just noticing how deep you breathe in and out and adjusting that a little bit, not forcing anything, but just bringing a little bit more awareness to the breath can help you so much with your stress levels. As we breathe in, as we breathe shallowly in the stress, sometimes we even hold our breath when we are in stress. That creates anxiety in the body already. So keeping the breath moving and steady and maybe just doing it a little bit deeper can be so good for us already. So now bringing it all to a close. Come back to your breath as often as you can. That is a very simple thing. And you have the breath always with you. It always will work for you, even if you don't focus on it. but it can change everything so dramatically. The breath is a really powerful tool. And most of you probably know this, but do we actually really pay attention to it during the day? That is the invitation that I have for you. Just focus on it. So pause and focus on your breath. That will be such a good thing to incorporate into your day. Now I have an affirmation for you as well. The affirmation goes like this: I am allowed to go gently. I am nourished by the simple things. Healing meets me where I am. And I want to say one more thing here. I just want to invite to ask yourself, what is one simple thing you can do today that nourishes your field? With all the things that I've shared with you, is there one thing that you can do today that nourishes your field? So I thank you for staying with me on this. I hope that it's given you a little bit of a motivation to incorporate that as we're going towards Christmas. You might not celebrate Christmas at all, but you might feel that intensity in the collective. So even for you, that might be helpful. But yeah, see if that can become something that you can incorporate full stop, to be more intentional in your day-to-day, be more ritualistic in your day-to-day, have an anchor of rituals in your day, not just routines that you mindlessly do, but actually bringing presence into it. And last but not least, if you have a ritual that you rely on, that changed your life or that you love dearly, I would love to hear what that is. I would love to hear how you navigate day to day, especially right now, going up to Christmas. I might feature some of those rituals that you share with me in future episodes. So let me know. And with that, I think there's one more podcast happening before Christmas comes around. But until then, I hope that you have a good time, that you create those little pockets of presence and pauses and just time for you in your day-to-day life, so that things don't become so intense and just go. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in again. And I hope this was helpful for you. And let me know how you're doing as you navigate this time. Thank you. And until next time, bye-bye. Thank you for joining me on this journey inwards. May the whispers you heard today echo into your daily life, gently guiding, healing, and reminding you of who you truly are. If this episode stirred something in your heart, I invite you to follow, share, or leave a review. It helps the medicine reach those who need it most. And if you feel called to go deeper, connect with me. Until next time, stay rooted, stay open, and keep listening to the whispers from within.